We've got this McLaren 540C with us. This is finished in this gorgeous plate silver metallic, complemented with the 19-inch McLaren alloys, and the calipers are finished in the flagship McLaren orange color. This is got a lot of spec for a McLaren 540C, so it's basically got everything one could throw at a McLaren. The list price in terms of an RRP back in 2016 for this would have been about 195, even sort of 189 to 195. But with the spec this has, this would have been priced anywhere from 215,000 to 220,000 pounds. On the inside, you're welcomed with this gorgeous saddle tan leather interior and the carbon black leather steering wheel. You've also got the memory seats, the upgraded Bowers & Wilkinson sound system, front heated seats, you name it. You've got everything here on this interior. But what really takes my breath away on one of these McLarens is not just that front end, which has also been PPF'd, or the dihedral opening doors, or the futuristic interior, but also this rear end view. You see this is definitely supercar territory. And ultimately, it's not just sort of all the looks that the McLaren sort of gives you from an exotic, from a luxury point of view, from an elegance point of view. And it's such a phenomenally crafted car that ultimately, when you want to own something like this, I think this is what you would want to describe in your dream. And that mid-mounted engine, this is a 3.8 litre twin turbocharge producing 533 brake horsepower, 540 Newton meters of torque, a top speed of a ridiculous 199 miles per hour, and a 0 to 62 possible in 3.5 seconds. What more could you want? And if you're wondering, have you got some space in terms of practicality, whether you're going on a trip, let's open up that front boot, which I can do with the key. But also you can do it from the inside. This is that front boot, and that gives you enough space for 2 medium-sized suitcases. And something most critical and important about this McLaren 540C, if you're wondering why is it priced at £69,995, one of them being that the McLaren of this era from 2016, bottomed out from a depreciation curve point of view long ago. I'd say as far back as about 3-4 years ago, and they have stayed consistent at that price, if not have gone slightly up in price. But this one's got a 2-year extended warranty with Rennworks. They're a McLaren specialist, and that warranty cost about £3,000 per year, and it also includes wear and tear coverage. So hopefully that will put your mind at ease. And also if you're looking for something absolutely perfect, spot on, then this is the car to have. From an ownership standpoint of view, people complain that these McLarens suffer with a lot of common issues. Well, one of them being is put your battery on trickle charge. Okay, that's it, simple. And another quirk is people are like, I got in it and my window smashed or got stuck, or my door actuator stopped or froze, all kind of things you hear. But one of the best ways to kind of look after and maintain your car and for these things not to happen to you is simple common sense things. A lot of people will go there, put their hand, and rather than wait for that window to drop, they will just yank the door. And it all comes down to common sense stuff. They'll wait for that door to drop, open the window. How hard can it be? And I can go through some of the other aspect of it once I start it up to actually teach you the correct procedure of starting one of these, what the McLaren handbook is saying in terms of getting into a car like this and preparing it to be started and also driven and then coming to a halt, and all those things I'd like to cover in this test drive video. We're in the driver's seat. Common sense approach is how you have to treat these cars with. Firstly, don't have your foot on the brake pedal and sort of start it up straight away. Don't fire it up. All you do is press the start engine or stop engine button, wait for all these lights to come on, and once these lights have come on and they've done their business, foot on the brake pedal, and there you go, it started up. It's doing the it's got a front axle lift, and the right height is automatically raised in this when you start it. Also, if you want to avoid having any issues with your front axle lift, when you've parked it in your garage and you're not driving until tomorrow or 5 days later, always drop that front axle lift so that you're not forcing the hydraulic system to keep the front nose of your vehicle up high, and that's putting unnecessary stress onto all the hydraulic mechanism. Also, the owner's manual will tell you to deactivate stop start. So you must press that button, deactivate it, and job's done. Now that I've pressed drive, my foot is still fully planted onto the brake pedal, the gear is engaged, I can slightly start to move away. So here in this really small minute or two, I've covered your back in terms of stopping a lot of common issues, such as your starter motor having unnecessary wear and tear, and when that fails and you're trying to start the car, it smokes blue quite a lot, and also saving the front axle lift or the hydraulic system at the front from a lot of abuse, especially when people have a slightly raised garage, and when they want to get into their garage, they're unfortunately leaving that front axle lift up high raised. You have to drop it just to make sure that the car and its component, both mechanically, electrically, and its integrity is looked after. And the starting sequence that I described is no different to you waking up in the morning. You're not waking up in the morning running at 100 miles an hour. You are a bit sloppy, slow, taking a long time to answer, to think, even to walk, to talk. It's no different to a car. Remember, the world we live in is based on very simple rules like oxygen, gravity, and those rules, just like they apply to human beings, they also apply to cars. You've got the sports exhaust system on this McLaren, so from the get-go it sounds absolutely incredible. Just wants to go. On a cold start it's very grunty, sounding like a sports car should sound like. And there is quite a lot in terms of specification in a McLaren, even just standard, all the tuning capability that you've got from just this layout right here. So you've got these buttons here on the left side and the buttons on the right side, and what they actually do is, if I was to turn this to the left, this is basically the normal modes selected onto the vehicle, and if you wanted to select some of the sports or track modes, you simply press active, and if I was to turn this over to sports mode, the handling is now in sports mode, so you get a slightly stiffened chassis. And if I was to use this dial on the right side and to put it in sports mode, now my powertrain is in sports mode. So what it's doing is holding it one gear lower. And if right now this button is pressed saying that the car is in manual mode, and it will say manual here. If you wanted to take that off manual mode, press it, and there's an A that will come up on the screen suggesting that you are in now total auto mode, and it's doing the job that it needs to do for you, changing the gears that the car is going to do automatically. And the intelligent thing about the 7-speed SSG transmission, the Italian manufactured transmission, is that it's a dual clutch transmission. So you've got 7-speed, 2 clutches, one working off odd gears, the other one off even gears. So it's doing a lot of things at a really, really fast pace and speed. Hence why the 0 to 62 miles per hour performance is possible in 3.5 seconds. Hence why the top speed is 199 miles per hour, that it's able to go through these gears at a split second. What's not helping me right now is that I've got a Kia Sportage in front of me, and even though on these roads I can go up to 60 miles an hour, Unfortunately, the Kia Sportage is not helping me achieve the optimum condition to want to drive something like this. But you can still have a lot of fun, a lot of play, and it's a very involving experience, even doing 50 miles an hour. So you don't need to be doing fast speeds to experience these cars for what they are and for what they're able and capable at. You can enjoy it quite sensibly even at the lower end. Whether you want to have the Grand Tourer feel to this, or you saw me in Go Quiet, something along the lines of driver focusedness, this will tick both those boxes for you. And right now, this is not missing a beat. The fact this has had the full wheel geometry, the alignment, as well as the tires, brakes, and everything are in very, very good condition. This is a very well balanced McLaren, performing at its optimum without breaking a sweat. And just to cover the performance numbers one more time, just think of this. Just under £70,000, you're getting a McLaren with that front view. Phenomenal, takes your breath away. This cockpit view, this very futuristic setup that you've got the dihedral opening doors, that back end, and then ultimately you've got the phenomenal McLaren made 3.8 litre twin turbocharged engine. This speaks for itself. It's not something that I need to try very hard at selling, but if you are looking for a McLaren, do buy one. You will be a very happy man, albeit with slightly less money in your bank account. But please tell me a man or a woman that were able to take their money with them to the grave, unless, you know, the British Museum dug it up. Now let's go back to looking after the integrity of the car, mechanically, electrically. What do we need to do now? I told you how to start it, how to drive it, put it through its paces, drive it like, you know, you've robbed a bank. Now let's use the knowledge that's provided to us in the McLaren handbook to take it home, so that the next person or the next time you take it out, the car starts and you can have a lot of fun, and it can continue to give you that consistent good feel without having to break the bank. Firstly is to put the handling package into normal mode so that the suspension can be back into the normal setup, the powertrain back into normal mode, and we will press the active button to deactivate that, to say that we are no longer looking for these modes to be selected. And the next thing the McLaren handbook, believe it or not, actually tells you is that for the last, let's just say 5-10 minutes of your journey, it's recommended for you to drive this car at sensible speed so that the air from outside can cool the engine, the turbos, and all the other ancillary items, so that naturally it's cooled down, rather than this being blisteringly hot, run like you have robbed the bank and you've just got to your destination, you've switched it off and left it at that. Remember, the car, in terms of what it can offer, can only do so much in terms of cooling it down. Therefore, the handbook makes it explicitly clear to please take these sensible steps to let the car cool down, and therefore you can continue to get loads of miles and increase the happiness of your life, and I'm sure the car will appreciate you for that as well. So thank you very much for actually watching this video up to this point. This is everything that I wanted to cover in terms of how you should look after your McLaren, how you should drive it, and the common sense little things that you should do. And obviously it goes without saying, read that McLaren handbook. thank you for watching the video. This is where I'll say goodbye. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, so I'm able to continue to produce this kind of content.